So yeah, guys, we did have Justin Timberlake take this particular photo op, and as you can see, it's on YouTube, and essentially it's just him saying yes to the ascendance of Black African American and the rest of the African diaspora being the stewards of this particular planet for 500 years without oppressing anyone else, just being peculiar in communicating a directive of forgiveness and redemption, being able to lead the world into a more pleasant condition as prophesied by Martin Luther King Jr. So on, that's what he literally is a son of Jesus Christ in heaven. He's really my son in heaven, one of my sons in heaven. I have 5,000 sons in heaven and 5,000 daughters, and they dream into this world with me on missions. And sometimes they literally have no idea what they're working on. When the Central Intelligence Agency, gives them an assignment, sometimes they have no idea what the real assignment is, and they find out later on, like this particular assignment. Now he knows what he's communicating to me and the rest of the intelligence and security community. Okay, this is not bragging at all. I want you guys to know that we're here to mix the planet, not just racially, but multinationally, multi-ethnically, and multi-politically, multiculturally, multi-faith, and so forth. Everything else. So there's nothing wrong with that, and that's actually the most progressive, the most enlightenment you can be at this particular point in the human journey, and it's going to be fundamental toward the end, toward kingdom come until the end of time. It's fundamental. It's necessary to think that sort of way. But I have met a lot of folks who just don't believe that mixing the races or ethnicities or nationalities actually makes sense, and I actually have to speak as if it actually is a problem to too many people. So but that's what I meant when I said it that way. Clearly, that's what I meant when I said it that way, based on what I've published consistently and communicated. Okay, so yeah. All right, so I am auditing some of these videos, the hip hop videos, and I'm going to make sure that gangsta hip hop is no longer part of the African American community, and then it expands to the rest of the world. And then from time to time, whenever it emerges, wherever in the world, we're going to have directives to eliminate it without, oppressing or offending any particular community. So that's what we are working on right now. First, the African American community, the center of the hip hop world. It's just a small project. That's not a fundamental project of what we are doing here with the Central Intelligence Agency and Interpol. But it's necessary. It's certainly necessary for the African American ascendance narrative. So I'm not going to be offensive at all. And yes, I am Jesus Christ. I am God. I'm not here to brag, but I need things, done right now. So that's the only reason I'm revealing it right now. We are approaching a world war, and we have intercepted what the original plan was, and we have gotten in the way of that. So it's going to be completely staged at this point to teach the lesson to why we abolish nuclear warfare, create continental unions, create the world government, and so forth, remove borders, and so forth. All right, so it's going to be completely staged just to be able to tell to our posterity why we got to the next level and the next paradigm and so forth. Okay, that's just the reality. It has to be documented to posterity and ourselves why we get to the next point. Okay, so factions in China, Russia, the United States, Turkey, and North Korea, and even Israel did conspire to create a world war, to create some sort of alliance of supreme authorities of governments, and so forth. It's just very it's not illogical, but it's nonsensical, and it's certainly not humanist in any sort of way. I'm not going to allow any government or set of governments or alliance of government to teach any lesson to humanity that government is supreme and people ought to adhere to no matter what the conditions of terms when it comes to law and policy. No, we're not going to teach that. I'm not going to allow that to be part of government here in the United States of America or anywhere else on this planet or wherever else it emerges, right? But anyway, So yeah, I'm not gonna offend anyone in saying this, and I'm not gonna be a bad person in being a good person and being, apparently too good to be approached by some of the government workers that I was scheduled to have conversations with, in particular white individuals. And when I say white, I'm not speaking of white-minded or folks in white T-shirts or any sort of metaphor. I'm speaking of European unions. I'm speaking of European Americans, not European unions, but obviously European Americans and so forth. They're having a hard time accepting what is going to transpire over the next 30 years and then to succeed in 500 years. Having a very difficult time. And we are not going back and forth, jumping past and present and future or any of that. We're going to keep the world real. Okay, that's enough. That's enough, guys. You guys are going to interpret what we have provided, the Central Intelligence Agency, under my directive, whether squarely by my authorship or per commissions that I dish out. You guys are going to listen to what I have to say, and you guys are going to adhere to it not by force, not by illegal force, but you guys are going to adhere to it by guidance or by instructions, mandates. Okay, so that's what I meant. Okay, I'm not trying to offend anyone. And earlier this morning, I did send in. I did not send in, but I did submit to Google Books, not Google Play, but Google Books, additional work papers. So right now I think I'm at 15 at one of my Google accounts, and my other Google accounts I have the legal article published, the New Society's Concepts and Perceptions of an Eastern Caribbean Model of Commonality, published in 2022, published online with Google Books. The book sketch with iUniverse, which was actually published in 2012, unedited and incomplete. It's still online. I just want the world to know how humble I've been, how considerate I've been to the folks who were trying to figure out, how on their own without me innovating how to create a better world and so forth. And when they weren't able to come up with the right ideas, I said I'm going to work on my own, and they're just going to have to accept it as I have planned, as I already planned, in anticipating that they wouldn't be able to figure out what the right thing to do is, because everyone is patriotic on the planet. Everywhere we go, everyone is patriotic, not just Americans, everyone. So I tested the Caribbean, I tested Canada, I tested the United States, we tested other countries from afar, and they all failed the test. So I committed to saying, okay, I'm going to finish up, I'm going to actually reveal what I've had planned, and I wrote the legal article of the same namesake, the New Society, as intended. It's of the same content, but it literally is what I intended. Perfectly coherent, perfectly literate, perfectly genius, perfectly commendable, perfectly humanist, perfectly interfaith, perfectly multinational, integrationist, interracial, in perspective, protective of every sort of social demographic group perceivable, and so on. Protective of every fundamental and complementary or complemental right, protection, benefit, privilege, and prerogative conceivable by humanity and above, for the most part. So I work very hard, and I'm not here to be oppressive in communicating this. Okay, guys, and so I'm going to publish one or two, or even additional papers. I'm going to have them submitted to Google Books. I'm going to do it myself from here in Orlando, Florida. I've done everything on my own, in all honesty. And I just want you guys to know that it's documented, that I'm the one actually doing what I said that I'm doing. Okay, guys? Particular man, he's under audit. He used to work for the FBI. He's on audit. He's in the process of losing his leg to amputation. He wants to kill the whole world, and every African American who he calls nigger, he calls us all niggers. And is under audit. He's in a lot of trouble. He lied again, so I have no other choice but to document it. Right now, I'm actually at the Hardee's. Interpol is actually going to amputate his leg with help from the FBI. I'm pretty sure he's going to negotiate some sort of a condition of penalty, a judgment rendered, and he's going to request that his leg be amputated instead of spending 10 years in prison. This crazy white man, a white supremacist, who's been working for the FBI in New York and now here in Florida. We caught him too many times and just did not believe that it was possible to actually punish a white man who looks as if he has authority by nature. So I'm not going to have to say anything else on that particular matter. He's not going to do anything. He's just going to yappity yap, yap, yap. Okay, so that's what I want you guys to understand. I'm not joking around. I haven't amputated anyone's arm or leg or anything whatsoever. But when it's time to endorse orders to do so, when they have negotiated it, when they refuse to go to jail for the rest of their life, or for 10 years or 20 years, or even a year, sometimes they really say no to that. Folks who have been caught ordering murders of African Americans and immigrants just because they are of that particular social demographic group and no other reason. I'm telling you, we have tested these men and women consistently. They have hurt guilty people egregiously, they've hurt innocent people, and they've hurt people they are not sure who are innocent or guilty just because of political perspective and the fear of mixing, interracialism, and so forth. I'm telling you, they are that bad. The FBI, the culture of the FBI, we're going to reform the FBI. Interpol is here to stay, is going to supervise the federal government of the United States moving forward in perpetual. That's the agreement we have made with the United States government in secret and the United Nations. Okay, guys? I'm not offending anyone. That's enough. You guys have offended me too much. That's enough. Okay, guys, this is the same me, Shawn Dexter John, clean and handsome. And there were some lookalikes who were hired by the FBI, Not lookalikes, not generally lookalikes, but profile lookalikes who kept saying they have dirty-looking children in the ghetto, and they're the real Shawn John or Shawn Dexter John. And we caught these white supremacists in the FBI. They're in a lot of trouble. All right, and my father is part of a sting operation. We caught the FBI proposing to my dad that he have multiple women with beautiful, clean-looking women so that he can have rich children, so that he can get a big house right away and have as much pleasure as possible. That the pleasure principle rules the United States of America, and only Jesus Christ does not know that. So I'm referring to, when speaking of my father in this particular situation, I'm referring to my biological father, Clay Crispin John, of this particular life tenure, okay? And they promised my dad that if he messed up in trying to set me up, he would be the one who would end up having dirty children with ghetto women. It's just very wicked. They're trying to get in the way of me mixing the United States of America and me being rich and being able to serve as the example of that, or the lead of that particular directive from heaven. I'm telling you guys, they're in a lot of trouble. Don't listen to a word they say. All right, so we're going to mix races, we're going to mix ethnicities, and we're going to mix nationalities. Barack Obama is now going to lead that effort. He was just, some sort of a proceeding as we intended, some sort of a transition of the United States into preparing for me. Okay, I'm going to be the first world president. I'm going to purport and look as if I'm half white, half black, of some Native American genetics, actually a quarter Native American, and sort of I'm going to look somewhat like Boris Cujo. I'm going to look like Boris Cujo for the most part. I'm just less muscular, but for the most part, I'm going to fit his profile. Okay, so I want you guys to understand this. I'm not an arrogant person whatsoever. I've just had enough. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to communicate to you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna I'm gonna be the humble feller I've been over the past 15 years. Usually I'm the most famous and the most the richest in every life tenure. I'm always the richest man on the planet. I'm the only millionaire. I'm the only person who has $1 million or plus in my bank account. I was the only millionaire. As Du Bois, I had children with Marilyn Monroe. That's the reason she had to fake a death, and so forth. All right. I'm always the most famous and the richest person. That's why I don't have to brag. That's why I did not say a thing while at Howard University or anywhere else. That's why I've been humble over the past 12 years, purporting to be the humblest field agent of the Central Intelligence Agency ever. Okay? Don't take my kindness and modesty for granted, and accept me opening up my $10 million estate and trust fund accounts soon, within the next few weeks, and live in a superficially wealthy life in an upper middle class Coral Gables neighborhood. Okay? I want you guys to understand it. And it's okay to say I'm Barack Obama-like. It's okay to say that. All right? But I'm not offended by that. But I'm not belittled by that, to me. Okay? But I don't want you guys to believe that this is a Barack Obama initiated program, or Barack Obama is the one who decides my fate, or whether Jesus Christ is going to rule over the world as secretly, in being secretly Allah, meaning myself, Jesus Christ, being secretly Allah. I am God. Okay, I created the whole universe. I don't have to explain anything further. Okay, Barack was never God. He was never godlike. He's the Prophet Muhammad, reincarnated. I chose him. Okay, that's the reality, and he's going to humble himself and accept that. This is not a competition over women. This is not a competition over any procreation program or any finances. Everything has already been decided, and was decided from the beginning of time. I gave human beings the opportunity to write the narrative within the overall narrative already guaranteed. Okay, I gave them the opportunity to decide what happens in between narrative points, and they often come through on certain points, and they often don't come through at all. But I always have to save the day. I always have to get us to the point of the next narrative point within the human journey narrative, the story guaranteed to be fulfilled. Earth and humanity getting into the realm of heaven, kingdom come in 500 years. Okay? I need a better shaver. All right, guys? All right. It's not an illusion. I'm not a spirit. Okay?